Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, once again to the Game Arena Fall Summoner Series. I am one of your hosts, Kamika, and I am joined by Diadem. We just finished match number one in case you guys missed out, but you're just in time for match number two. It's in the winner's bracket, UC Pink versus ONU.
I'm excited for this match, right? Obviously, looking at the bracket here as we go into it, the teams that we're facing usually have a bit of a disparity, but this UC Pink and ONU team are pretty evenly matched, both going 1-0 in their last game, so obviously making it here. I'm excited to see kind of how these teams play out.
Yeah, same, and I'm curious to see if they what differences they have in terms of their gameplay and their pick rates, if any, than some of these other teams. Obviously, you've got like the meta picks, you're wanting to lock in Syndra, you're wanting to try and lock in like Wei, you're going to try and lock in Camille or Orin or something like that. But also, what also comes into play here as Camille is banned is what people actually like to play, like your actual main champs. I'm curious to see, since these teams know each other a little bit, if they try to go for any targets.
Yep. And we're seeing right now ONU picking up the Camille ban. I know you talked about picking it early, but it looks like that won't happen this game. Also picking up the Vex ban, but you see Pink having the Syndra and the Skarner band too. Pretty meta picks all across the board. Vex been getting a lot of play recently, even play
Mm-hmm.
in Worlds if you've been watching recently. Um, Definitely been a pick for people to kind of run and at least counter in lanes with. So getting that out the way, getting the team fight with Nico out the way, and you see Pink finishing off the bans with Thresh. Probably got a pretty nasty Thresh on ONU if it's worth a round one ban.
Yeah, I agree. Vex is a really good ban just because, like you said, there are a lot of champions with dashes that are meta right now, like Yone, like the junglers, like J4 and things like that. She's just a strong counter to anything like that, and she just does a ton of damage up front. Jhin can be picked up, not too surprising. He's like the only good AD ADC right now besides Kai'Sa, as we talked about. And there we go, Kai'Sa here as well. What do you
Awesome,
know?
awesome. Yeah, no, going Kai'Sa Rel, pretty good combo, right? Obviously, a lot of engage for your team. Although the lane is a bit rough, a bit low range, especially going into Jin, you make up for it with those early fights, getting into it with Kai'Sa level 6, Rel level 6. You have a lot of spikes going. So, like you said, Jin being pretty much the only good AD, Kai'Sa being the second one, but Kai'Sa is half magic damage anyway, so do we even count that? I don't know. At that point, he's just good in that role. And Ohio Northern going with the Alistar counter picking that row, making sure you can't get any free dashes in without getting bonked back.
Yeah, I like that Alistar pick. Not only does it give Jin a lot of easy just follow up for his W to lock people down, like you literally knock someone up, Jin just literally has to shoot in a straight line. But it also, like you said, counters the Rel. Like she tries to go in, just gets knocked right on back. It's super, super nice like that. And as Kai'Sa tries to go in with her ult as well, can also get knocked back. So Alistar does a very good job of healing for Jin here.
Definitely, and we're seeing Yone picked up immediately. Prio obviously flex between mid and top, really strong right now in the meta as well, and an answer into Syndra. So if you wanted to pick up that Syndra, or excuse me, not the Syndra because it's banned, but a pretty good answer into like Wei or any
Way, yeah.
kind of immobile mages that you throw mid, and Lissandra, okay, get a bit of lockdown. I like it. A bit low range on the side of UC Pink. You have to be a bit worried about the engage, but following up on Rel, we'll have to see kind of what they want to pair with that
Well,
top side.
Well, I do have to say that ONU is pretty short range as well. So the fact that Lysandra thrives up against short range comps and people that try to engage on her is a really good pick for her in this scenario. She actually does a really, really good amount of damage in terms of like, for her pick rate and things like that. She's a very good counter to Yone. Tries to get close, gets rooted, gets stunned forever. It's super, super nice. And so, yeah, we're going to be seeing Gwen getting banned and not too shocked about that. She just does a ridiculous amount of damage, destroys any tank, destroys any AD carry, destroys pretty much any character whatsoever with just her raw amount of damage right now.
Yep. It looks like UC Pink getting rid of the Vladimir as well, getting rid of the J4, making sure that you don't have that open pick. Vlad top being extremely strong right now. Vlad mid also just being pretty good. So you kind of have that flex as well. And UC Pink just wants to get rid of that there. But Ohio Northern finishing off the bans with the Viego. You know that you banned the J4 on UC Pink's side. It does look like they're setting up for a carry. And there's the carry we were talking about. Kane locked in for UC Pink this late in the bracket.
Now, I find that really, really interesting. I was not
It's
expecting to be
funny.
seeing like a Kane coming out here
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, he's really good in solo queue, but like yeah, this is what I was saying. Like sometimes maybe we can see these guys pulling out more comfortable picks rather than just like meta picks. Necessarily not to say that Kane's outside of the solo queue meta by any means, but yeah, Greg is coming in here as well, a pretty good flex pick between jungle and top, but we'll be finding out very, very soon whether or not Gragas is going to be top or jungle.
Yeah, and I mean,
Or
UC
not,
Pink's in a
maybe.
great spot. Yeah, it looks like Yone and Gragas still flexing around a little bit. Probably gonna send the Gragas top, if I'm being honest. It's just the easier blind than Yone going top here. But UC Pink, knowing that you have the advantage of, hey, I'm gonna slam a carry jungle. We're probably gonna pick our comfort pick with Kane here, right? Which gives us counter pick top. Ohio Northern kind of just has to pick blind into it, and you have a bit of an advantage on that red side. So you're gonna have to see. Gonna lock the Ornn R5. All right, just gonna look to neutralize that lane. You have a lot of tankiness on the side of UC Pink. I think it's a very heavy comp, but you have to be worried about Ohio Northern kind of just walking up early in jungle with that Sejuani.
Yeah, that's true. I really do like that Orin pick, though, because I'm looking at Ohio Northern's comp, and they have like a ton of CC.
Yep.
Orin, as you know, has some things that make him unstoppable. So he can still get his engage off pretty nicely from range with his ult and up close with his unstoppable on his E, I believe. And so yeah, that does kind of neutralize a little bit of things as far as that goes. Ohio Northern, they do have a lot of decent engage, but Lysindra is very good to counter that. So is Rel, and Kai'Sa's ult can also be used for that end. So just from an overall draft perspective, I like UC Pinks just a little bit more.
Yeah. Definitely see what you're saying. It's as a cohesive like team fighting unit, especially if Kane can kind of find an off angle in a lot of these fights. Ohio Northern splits a lot of their damage off, and it becomes really, really rough to kind of focus on one engage when you know that UC Pink has a lot of counter engage to that. But one thing Ohio Northern does have very strong is their mid jungle 2v2. Their mid
Mhm.
jungle 2v2 with Sejuani Yone is extremely strong, right? It's the same reason that you'd run like a Sejuani Silas. You have a lot of quick auto attacks, a lot of ways to proc that Sejuani E. And UC Pink, knowing that Kane's going to be really weak early, especially into Sejuani around level 3 to level 4, Lysandra doesn't really have much to play off of until we get to those team fights where you add the other laners in. So, what you have to be careful about is Ohio Northern taking that mid jungle prio and kind of spreading that through the map, especially in this this early to mid game.
Yeah, I one thing I do like as well from Ohio Northern is that Gragas, you so many people are just shocked by the amount of damage this guy does towards the end of the game. Like if he literally just EQs, he gets one combo off on Kaisa, she's dead. Same thing with Kane, same thing with Lysandra, and probably take Orin down in late game, depending on how ahead he is, in like two, maybe like three spell rotations. So Gragas
Yeah.
is, and he's tanky as well. So like Ohio Northern, if they know how to play the Gragas properly, eventually he will get to a point where he is a big, big problem in more ways than one.
Yeah, definitely. But I think honestly, that's all we're looking for out of these two drafts. So I'm excited to see when we actually do hop onto the Rift, how these games play out.
Yeah, same. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a quick break, but don't go anywhere. It's going to be a very quick break, emphasis on the quick. So we'll be right back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Summoner's Rift. I am Kamika, joined by Diadem, and we here have UC Pink versus ONU. We've got the Kane being dropped in the tournament. We've talked a little bit, Diadem, about what we think this Kane is going to be doing, but so far we've thought that he's going to try and go red Kane into this comp. Care to explain that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, you're trying to get your transformation timings out pretty quickly. You're facing four melees here, so I wouldn't be surprised if Kane tries to just hover this red side, maybe hover a couple of these lanes. You have to be worried about where this Sejuani is. You really don't want to face checker, but I can definitely see Kane picking up that red, picking up a little bit more tankiness, and trying to just survive in these games.
Yeah, judging by his starting position, I'm thinking he's probably just going to try and. It's looking like he's going to try and either go for a full clear down into a gank bot, or he's just going to go for a full clear reset into top. Because, again, you do have to go for that play onto Yone. And looking at that, honestly, Yone into Orin, I wouldn't be too shocked if that's what he decided to do, just to shut the Yone down early.
And there's the walk up immediately, gets the W on Rel, but quick trade from Jin, and that's going to be way more worth for the side of blue.
Yeah, in terms of health, I'm not too worried about Rel with the missing health because at level 2 you do get quite a lot of health back, so it's not the worst thing in the whole wide world, but it definitely enables Jin to be getting this push for level 2 a lot easier.
You're noticing, you talked about kind of the counter pick that was Lissandra into Yone, and Owen, you recognized that as well and just swapped their Gragas mid. So now kind of using up that idea that you have a lot of flex picks to take, taking a quick phase rush trade there, but it's not going to be worth.
Yeah, the thing is, though, is that Gragas isn't too great into Lissandra either, as you can plainly see. She just chunked the living daylights out of him. Taking a little bit of an extra turret shot there. Gragas, one thing he has on Yone, though, is sustain. And just as we were saying, Kayn gonna be going for that clear. Actually decides to do a half clear into a gank top, which is kind of risky in my opinion.
Yeah, he just level 3s it. I think it's a pretty good idea though, because you're most vulnerable at Yone when that 1 to 3 level, right? When you're kind of really high on cooldowns, have a really rough time trying to trade in lane or kind of deciding whether you want a W wave or enemy. So getting an early trade, and you're going to see right there, Orin is going to take advantage of that. Both laners running Grasp.
Yeah, and I've seen that on Yone before. When he goes top, it's not, in my opinion, the most amazing thing, but you can definitely justify it up against Orin when he's, gonna be just standing and banging with you the whole time. You can definitely get a lot of grass procs off. And this is why you would want the Gragas into Lissandra, is because he does have the sustain. You still gotta be very careful because, like you just saw, she could still take down you like a quarter of your health within one singular spell rotation.
Yep, and we're seeing right now, hardest part about Yone is that he has just such a high base HP regen with Grasp, and you go the Doran Shield as well. And although he was extremely low, about 2 seconds ago we swapped the cam back up and now he's winning on health. Although he's up 1 level, he still is pretty above. And you're going to see Sejuani setting up here in the bot. You have a really strong dive here, Sejuani tanks it. There's the knockup as well. Going to be able to hit that. Sejuani still tanking, gets the stun out. This is going to be first blood to her, but the trade, Orin's going to pick up the 1. He does lose a lot of this wave if he doesn't TP back.
Yeah, he's gonna lose a lot of the wave even if he does TP back. And Yone, it's pre-5 minutes, so I don't know if he's necessarily gonna try and go for the plate. It looks like he is just from the off screen, but that does if he did try to go for the plate is gonna be in a little bit of danger if Orin does try to stop his back here, which looks like he's not, thankfully for him.
Yep, definitely. If you're Orin, you kind of just want to take the prow, right? Obviously, you get Dove, that's fine. You just got to trust that your jungler's getting something around the side. And with Kayn, nice thing is that it's not like a J4 or where you always have to necessarily trade with a other gank. There's immediately the flash in and getting the W, and that's going to be an early kill on Rohan. Kayn picking up an early shot, and then immediately the engage on the bot side as well. Kai'Sa getting stunned out again. There's the flash from Jin. Look at the force shot. The barrier, excuse me, saves the force shot. Kai'Sa not going to be able to fall, just goes back. That's a lot of sums out of the bot lane, though.
Oh shoot, dude. That was a great little play there from Kayn. Just seeing that Lissandra's keeping him nice and low for pretty much that entire time. It's like, oh, this guy is cruising for a bruise, and the flash W from Lissandra keeps him rooted into place. Nice, easy target for Kayn, and that is going to be some red stacks for the Kayn man.
Definitely. Any early kills on this Kayn is huge, because best part is that it's hard to outpace him, especially when he gets this far ahead. So now he's going to be going to this top side. You have to be careful. Sejuani's already on his Krugs. It looks like they're going to brawl a little bit here, but Sejuani just so tanky, getting the Aftershock proc, and now just backing up. You have Orin there first, but Orin doesn't get the knockup. Gets the W over, does pop it. Immediately the stun, and then dashing back over the wall. Overall, a pretty rough trade for blue side. As you see, Lissandra is first up, gets the ult, and pops it. Yep, there's the Orin as well, gets the root as well. Backs up, still stunned. Rel trying to follow it back up, has the first rotation. Gragas just bumping them off. And ONU getting a bit out-rotated here right now in this game.
Yeah, that was a great little rotation from the Rel. Completely flipped things on its head. Yone trying to go for a little bit of an annoying play onto the Orin, but it's not going to be too overly impactful. Only delaying his back by like a few seconds or so. And that's Orin still does have playing time to go back to lane, but oh, Lissandra almost dying because she doesn't have ult or a lot of health coming back into lane. So yeah, she's gonna lose a little bit of a wave over this. Doesn't have TP, so that's pretty good for Gragas. Kane may come to save it though.
You have to be careful. Kaisa walking up a little too far. Not seeing in base.
Alone,
There's
too.
the 4th shot as well. Trying to just charge up. You don't have 6 to pop anything yet, and the Rel is still there. So you are safe, but that's another trade, and it's going to be another wave you kind of have to sacrifice under this tower.
Yeah, you gotta be really careful when your support's gone to roam, and obviously the entire enemy team knows it. They try to go and kill her, and they really do almost succeed. Especially since they're trying to zone her off the wave here. As you can see, the wave state is pushing clearly into Ohio Northern, so Kaisa probably tried to go for a little bit of a fix back onto that, otherwise she would lose a lot of CS. And she just wasn't successful in it, so she is still going to lose a lot of CS and have to walk all the way back to lane.
Yep, yeah, you have to be careful. Obviously this wave state is terrible. Jin not really looking for a back yet, so no need to push it. Kaisa and Rel now have to walk up into this team that has been chunking them recently, as Kato immediately going to trade in this top side as well. Yone getting a couple of grass procs off, the W pops, Ornn looking for it, gets the ult over the side, looking for the outplay, immediately hits the W back to shield.
Oh, great
sidesteps the knock up and flashes the other Q, and now dashes back in. Oh, just missed the Q knockup, and the Ornn W is going to secure that kill. Overall, pretty strong play, but immediately going to trade something on the spot side. First person there is Sejuani. Sejuani immediately going to jump in. Jin gets the first kill of that fight. Kane jumping over the wall, going to find another. There's the ult out as well, being able to hold it. There's the barrier from Kaisa. Kaisa not 6 yet, but Jin is. Jin opens up. The last hit from the W is going to pop it. And then looking for the 4th shot, not going to find it. But Sejuani, now with the health advantage, just going to walk into Kane's jungle and try to force him off his camps.
Yeah, this is a smart play from Sejuani. Kaisa's not going to be up for another little bit, so she has the opportunity to take at least one. Kane cannot 1v1 her at this point, so she's just free and clear to go and take this for free. Can even walk back down and get this Scuttle Crab if she really wants to, because of the pressure that Jin has. Can easily join this fight. Gragas is prio as well, so Kane is pretty much in a bad spot to take anything in the jungle right now.
Yep. Kane is in a rough spot, and Kaisa is in a rough spot really badly now. Although Ornn did TP bot side and get a little bit of get a little bit of gold there. Your bot lane is just in a really terrible spot for these fights.
Ooh, it's looking like he's trying to come to Lissandra's aid, but oh, the flash! That's a little bit of a rough one there from Gragas, but oh, should still be able to get out. This one, oh man, Kane might be getting baited now as well. Everyone's just baiting each other. The bomb comes in from Ornn and doesn't manage to hit though, but man, oh man, both teams just flirting with death a little bit too close there.
Yeah, just playing along the edge of that tower. You saw the Gragas ult come back in, but just missing the range, just being a little bit off cooldown especially. So not being able to secure that kill. Nobody ends up dying in that trade, and it's just going to be a bit of a mid push and a couple of resets coming from each side. Oh, Kaisa getting jumped on again. Alistar kind of hiding in that bush. The snipe on the W for Jin is going to hit the stun as well coming from the side. They are tanking for Jin. You just have 2 health tanks right here. You're looking for the 4th shot, but Jin getting a little bit cold feet there. Is now Rel coming from the side trying to take up. Rel doesn't have 6 yet, so you have to be careful.
I feel like Jin could have done that one, honestly. Especially if you wanted to get the flash. I think he could have even done it without the flash, but I think just a little bit of lack of confidence on that one. Easy to say as casters, but when your game is literally resting on it, it's not such an easy decision to make. So They're just instead going to go for resets for the dragon.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's like, yeah, as a caster's view, oh, it looks like I'm going to get interrupted here. Kane just kind of walking down Yone on this top side, but Yone taking a pretty nice chunk. But no, usually like from the caster's booth, I'm like, oh, you could have walked up and Alistar ulted to tank for it to take less damage, and then he 4 shots and Qs. But it's like, you have objective coming up. You don't know what they're coming. They might want to save their ults for a dragon fight, right? So yeah, it's all kind of what the team wants to do, and there's usually a lot of merit when it comes to these decisions.
Yeah, Greg is getting to a point where he can outshove his opponent, but oh, Kane getting to a point where he's getting a little bit bullied and beaten up by Sejuani. The Bomba comes in and the Kane goes down. Orin looking like he's on a little bit of an island here, forced to flash out. The follow-up flash gonna be coming in from Sejuani, and she does get him nice and tanked up. And all the curtain call coming in from Jin. A lot of very weak targets up in here for him, and he should be able to get at least one, but somehow the dodges come in. Does clean up though with the Gragas. And that will be a 3-0 turn towards Ohio Northern University.
Yeah, we are seeing now kind of the danger of having that bot lane ahead, always being just on that rotation, and Jin popping the ult, especially with the slide in. Although Rel landed a really nice 3-man ult coming in from the side, it just wasn't enough because Jin is just peppering shots from the back line. Kane might be able to pick up a quick kill there. Yep, getting the smite just to finish it off. Any gold in this pocket is really nice now. You're seeing going that red Kane.
Yep, he's finally got the rust going on here, and so that's going to be meaning that he's going to be having a lot more sustain in these fights as opposed to earlier, and that's going to be really important going into this Sejuani, this Gragas, people that he's going to have to be taking more long-term fights with. And as you can see, he's full health. He's going to try and go in here. It's a little bit questionable in my opinion, just because they don't have the bot prio and the enemy bot lane was just on there, but yeah, Kane is going to see if he can do a little bit of counter jungling here and maybe get it into a gank for mid lane afterwards. Seems to be the plan here.
Yep, knowing that, you know, Sejuani is on his Krugs, having to just back up a little bit, you take a bit of prio, but looks like Lissandra is going to be rotating down there. They're calling for a fight, but it looks like ONU is catching up to it as well. They have the Jin rotated as well. They're going to jump in, you get the first stun. You have to be careful about this burst on Sejuani. The ult is going to finish it off, and now you see Pink in the advantage walking up, gets the airborne on the side of Kai, and now Kaisa ults back in. ONU Tango just jumping in, not going to be able to find anything, jumping over the wall, but it's not going to be enough. The flash doesn't save him. Immediately jumping in, there's an ult from Kato as well. Jumping, they're just trying to play this fight really slow here. Immediately going to E back. They're going to finish off one and trade this. It is going to be a 1-for-2 though.
Yeah, they also killed the Sejuani, so it's 1-for-3. So very worth scenario there for them. Kane needed a little bit of a push in the right direction, and he got all the help he needed from that team there. And all the while, they were forced to bring the Yone down bot, and that allowed Orin to take the whole first turret. Absolutely massive gold swing, not just from the kills, but also from Orin getting all of that top.
Yeah, we saw a really great fight on the top side from ONU, and then we see a return fight from UC Pink. You can kind of see why these guys are matched pretty evenly here, because they're willing to trade across this map, as Sejuani just going to walk up, try and trade at least for an E-proc, but not going to find it. Especially with this Rift Herald coming up, you're going to see a lot more brawling around this side, as there's the engage from Alistar jumping in. Rel W, going to just save him.
That's a nice buffer on the W from Realm. Make sure that she doesn't, even if she does get hit by the CC, is able to get on over it. Kaisa, in the meantime, now also getting static shift to match Jin, so the push power for Kaisa is going to be pretty good down in the bot. And in the meantime, it looks like UC Pink is starting to congregate around this Rift Herald. Could drop it mid, could drop it bot, or could save it for the next dragon if they really do want to. Either way, enemy team seems to be having the same idea, so we might be seeing another fight sooner rather than later. All ults are back up.
Looks like they're walking down, right? You have Lissandra kind of just pressuring off. Orin is going to be there first. Finds the knock up on Alistar. They're still going to back up. Call of the Forge God coming out, immediately shooting in. Hits 3 with the Rel in the back line. There's the immediate Lissandra ult as well with Kai in a really rough spot. Gragas looking on the corner as well. There's another stun. They're going to trade 1-for-1. They're still looking. There's the Kane ult coming back out. Yone falls. That's a double to Kane. Still looking on the corner. Sejuani gets the dash out. Kane jumping over the wall, but just gets CC'd. Gragas and Alistar still trying to play this, but the healing from Kane is so much. The dash in from Orin gonna finish it off, and that's another one fight for UC Pink.
The crazy thing is, they still won that. Even though Gragas killed Kaisa and got the TP, if they had just stalled that fight just a little bit more and Gragas got that TP up, I think it genuinely would have been an ONU victory, because he would have been able to get his damage off a little bit more. Jin getting cut out meant that pretty much the only major damage source at that point was going to be him, and he was dead. So it was just Alistar and Sejuani for the most part. They're just having a wet noodle fight with the enemy team's carries like Kane. So Yeah, great focusing from UC Pink on managing to take out the carries early on, and stalling and taking the fight long enough and not allowing the stall to happen for Gragas to get the TP flank.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of the strength of Ohio Northern's comp right now kind of falling apart because of their target prio, right? A lot of these fights, it feels like Kai is kind of getting jumped on, and you don't really have the damage to peel or follow up for him. So once he falls in the fight, if Gragas is not there and Gragas is not like full comboing someone, you kind of run into a pretty big situation of who does damage on our team, because then Yone walks in and Yone just has to get targeted, right? You
Now,
need
I
to
do have
make
to
sure
say
that
though, they have plenty of people that can peel for him. That's like half their
yeah,
comp. So I
exactly,
think
yeah.
it just comes down to a little bit of how they're positioning in relation to him.
Yep, and you have to be careful as well. That's one thing a lot of the times Kaisa is just known for is if you get far behind on Kaisa, but you ever find an opportunity to ult, you're gonna ult, right? You just fly to that backline into Jin. That's why Zanya's is really strong as her on her as like a fourth item, right? After you pick up your core 3, because you can kind of just fly backline, blow up, an ADC, blow up a carry, and then Zanya's it back and wait for your team to kind of follow up. And with Kayn, with Ornn, with Lissandra, you have really, really great team fight follow up.
Dragon going to be gained by Red Kane and the side of UC Pink. And Owen Yu was trying to get a turret in response for it, or at least something like that. But UC Pink, again, they know that there's absolutely zero threat in the Dragon, so they just rotate 2 players up. And oh, speaking of threat, looking like Gragas is in a little bit of trouble, but the ult, oh my god, he almost gets away. Almost a really good play there from the Gragas, but the Lissandra does claim her mark at the end of the day.
Yep. Just gotta be a little bit more conscious of that wave, right? Knowing that Lissandra R also does damage to the area around it. Really nice sidestep on the Sejuani ult from mid lane. Kaisa still gonna be alive. Rel just leaving for a little bit, but that is going to lose Sejuani ult and give this topside objective to UC Pink.
Yeah, just noticed this, by the way. Kane is like 50 CS up on Sejuani and has so many kills here as well. I can definitely see why they went with this comfort pick. Rohan is absolutely disgusting on the Kane. Doing a lot of good stuff on an individual basis. Definitely a lot of comfortability with the champ to say, hey guys, let's go for this crazy invade on them. Everyone come with me. We can win, even though he was losing a little bit. And oh, Sejuani going for a little bit of a dive, but gets caught flat-footed. Might be following up a little bit soon here as well, Tango. Gragas trying to get them on out of here, trying to get one on back, but he hits the 100 turret that can probably sustain it the most. He's a little bit stunned up here now as well with the Ice Cage, and Kane will be following suit on him now as well. That is a dead turret.
Yeah, a bit weird from the side of ONU. You see Sejuani kind of just diving that mid lane, trying to find that Kaisa, not knowing where the rest of UC Pink was, immediately losing out and then letting the rest of UC Pink kind of converge on that mid lane. Really, really good job on Lissandra kind of holding your ult for that very final fight, letting Ornn tank that turret, and then Kane comes in and just finishes it right off.
Yeah, UC Pink, I feel like they're in a position where I just don't really see them losing, to be honest with you. They've got vision control. They're going to be stopping the back, calling the Kane on over. He's got so much mobility. He can be literally anywhere, any fight, take fights all the time. He's got such low cooldowns on his ult at this point. He can just literally go around and do whatever he wants. He's 7-1-7.
Yep, no, he's immediately specking into that magic damage, right? Just trying to get a little bit of sustainability here. Start to stack those MR and armor items just a little bit. Get that kind of tankiness with that lifesteal that you expect. Most likely a Spirit Visage, I'd say, right? You just get that MR, you get that extra healing. So now,
I
as
think what he's going for now is Merc Treads. He might do that later though.
yeah, I can definitely see it, especially when you spec into Red Cane, right? You have so much damage on your ult already with the percent that you just really want to be brawling in these fights. You want that survivability, and like you said, the Merc Treads are going to be really nice, especially if you're trying to just play against the CC.
Yeah, and he's also got the Black Cleaver now as well, and against a team that's just like stacking armor on Alistar, stacking armor on Sejuani, he's gonna absolutely shred them. He's gonna out damage them, and they can't even like out tank him anymore just because he's taking away most of their stats.
Yep. I mean, UC Pink is pretty far ahead here, but it looks like they're going to look for kind of engage. There's the Tashin as well, and the flash out of Lissandra is going to dodge the Sejuani ult. You don't have Sejuani ult now for this fight, and it looks like you do have 2 TPs on the bot side, or excuse me, Gragas no TP on the bot side. Same with Ornn, they just kind of matched them, so they're going to be brawling on this bot, but we immediately go on this top side as well. It looks like Alistar is going to be jumping in and then dashing. There's the immediate engage from Rel as well. Alistar, not much you can do. That's going to clear out a little bit of pressure, and they might try and look for this Baron or just a mid push.
They could very well do it. I think that if they, and it seems that they think that as well. They just they know that Gragas is bot side. They know that they just killed the support, and in a even in a fair fight, honestly, 5v5, I think they would still win it. So, yep, looks like they're going to be getting this Baron on up. Enemy team is forced to reset, and they're probably hoping that they can go for Dragon or at least go for a little bit of a recovery play and get themselves a little bit caught up.
Yeah, so now, I mean, sitting at a pretty hefty gold lead, but a lot of it sitting on that top lane in that jungle. So pretty tanky targets to have shutdowns on, obviously, but Gragas jumping in. They're trying to just look for a pick here, try to answer out something, but probably not going to be able to find it. Just going to clear out this jungle, but Kayn does not want that happening. Immediately dashes in, gets the knockup as well. Rel jumping over the wall, gets the stun, and that's just going to be an immediate deletion.
Yone is going in a tankier build as well, and he's still just getting absolutely eviscerated by this uber turbo fed Kayn. So honestly, I'm gonna be real. If this was solo queue and I was in this game, this would be the point where I'm FFing. But obviously, you can't do that. You gotta find a way to beat this Kayn. So how would you go about doing that?
If you want to go about this game, you really need to look for an early setup on one of these objectives. I think biggest issue that we're running into, especially for Ohio Northern setups on a lot of these points, is you have like 1 or 2 side pushing, right? And you overforce in that lane. You saw they walked up really far on that Ornn on the right. When they lost the fight to the left, Sejuani had already blown ult. When they lost the fight in mid lane, Sejuani had already blown ult and dove under mid tower trying to overforce it. A lot of these fights just have not been set up properly. You're seeing, though, they're just taking advantage
Good
now.
catch.
A really nice combo, though, coming out from ONU. Immediately with the Yone ult hitting. The Zanya's not going to save Lissandra for long, as that's another kill going to Jin's pocket. Ornn's going to pick up 1 on the side, though, and they're going to pick up 2, so they are going to trade 2 for 2 here. And Kayn immediately jumping over the wall. You're going to see the healing that he gets, almost full health from that ult, but taking a lot of tower damage. And the W with the shutdown. It's going to be huge. Looking for Rel as well. Rel keeping the lockup, and the flash from Ornn's going to finish it off. All that's left is Kato under tower, just trying to finish this off, hoping the tower can help with a little bit of the DPS. It is going to lock the knockup as well. Going to try and finish. Not going to work. Inferno and Cobble Sword staying underneath that tower with the Baron, finishing off that fight.
Yeah, and getting that turret as well with the Baron buff. It looks like he's going to be staying for that. Should very well easily be able to get out of here up against Gragas, especially when he hits the wave by accident, or on purpose, probably. So, yeah, he does have a lot of dashes. Oh, goes for the bomb, but the unstoppable, as we mentioned earlier, he is super fast, though, from that phase rush. So he might still be able to catch him. Oh, yep, he's got the cooldowns, and he will actually be catching Inferno off this. And the shutdown is massive for Gragas. That is an amazing amount of shutdowns on the now 4-4-4 Jhin, by the way. A little bit of nice lore there.
This Sejuani going a little bit too far, gonna have to force flash out of it. Bit rough, like knowing your team's not there. Just looking for kind of a short trade, but Alistar tries to find it in the backline. Jin's range just kind of peeking up. Not going to be able to finish off anything, though, as Alistar now stuck in the back. You have to TP from right, from Yone. There's the jump in as well. There's double knockup. The Sejuani ult not going to hit anything. Rohan in the backline gets 1, ults the 2nd, finishes off the 3rd. And there's another one straight to the pocket of Kayn. Kai'Sa finishing off in the double. A triple for Kayn, a double for Kai'Sa, and that's an ace for the side of UC Pink.
Yeah, I think Ohio Northern University tried to take another fight way too soon. I don't know if they were intending to take that fight, but they definitely should not have. I think they just need to cut their losses at one point when they were taking that fight and just realize, okay, we're probably not going to win this, because now they're definitely going to be losing. At the very least, they're losing this tower. I don't think Jhin is even going to be up in time. I think this is honestly just GG, bro.
Yep. Yeah. Looks like they TP'd on that minion, right? Save that wave. You have a mid wave pushing, and all they can do is hit Nexus turret. You have an honorable death here coming from Alistar, but the game is finished. UC Pink will take the game over Ohio Northern University.
And a very, very well done victory at that as well. If I have to pick like a man of the match or something, dude, I'm picking Rohan for sure.
Yeah,
He just was in every single fight, all around the map. He played that Kane to an absolute damn near perfect state. Like that
yep.
is if I have a Kane on my team, that's how I want him to be playing. He's getting in
Rohan,
every fight, just getting stuck in, taking all the objectives, and yeah, really can't really say much else.
I know I didn't have OPs, but Rohan, I was not familiar with your game. I apologize. I was not familiar with your game. That was clean. Obviously playing that early game, even going down in bot lane a little bit early, still being able to kind of play towards that top side, make sure Ornn got that lead, Ord spreading that lead as well to the mid lane, Lissandra playing those fights well, and knowing that your bot lane's always going to follow up, Rel finding insane engages across the board in that game as well. Kaisa allowing to just ult in. UC Pink was just clicking on all levels that ONU was not.
Yeah, and touching on the Rel for a second, in that last fight we saw, Rel went straight on in and caught three people in there, and that enabled Kane to just queue on in and basically insta kill the
Yep.
Jhin. So regardless of having all these people to peel for him, the Rel just made it so that they couldn't really do that. They were all just like stuck together, and all Kane had to do was just use one AoE ability. Lissandra just had to use one AoE ability, and
Yep.
she hits all of them, including the Jhin, and he just blows up. And so, hats off to the Rel as well. Very well played.
Definitely. When you play that engage really well, you bring the fights to your carries, and the carries just definitely dealt with it there.
Yep. I don't really have much else to say about this game other than very strong performance from UC Pink, and I'm very curious to see who they're going up against. Do we have any updates on the bracket, by the way, production? Okay, and it's looking like it is going to be
Sweet.
Ohio State University beating Gravity, the team full of masters and grandmasters, is going to be going up against UC Pink.
I like that. I like that energy. Ohio State University, we saw their game one, right, and how they played, looking really, really cohesive. Glad to know that they brought that to round two, and now finally we're going to see these two teams that are clicking with each other, especially in these team fights, kind of go neck and neck. So I'm excited for this match.
Same, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be bringing you Ohio State University versus UC Pink right after this break.